really get any attention from the people there. It'd be really hard. I haven't showered in 6 days. I haven't done anything.
First at 6, the Milford, Massachusetts high school student with an expired visa detained by ICE is free on bail tonight. 18-year-old Marcelo Gomes da Silva just spoke to the news media. We carried that live at 5 o'clock, saying that he was held in a detention facility with older adult men, and he says that they were sleeping on concrete floors and eating crackers for meals. Good to have you with us tonight. I'm Patrice Wood.
I'm Gene Valicenti. ICE was looking for his father, but grabbed him because he's here illegally too. And there's no apology from the feds tonight, despite measurable support from the other side, as NBC 10's Gabrielle Caracciolo reports live from Burlington, where he just walked out of the detention center. Gabrielle?
Yeah, Marcelo Gomes da Silva is no longer staying in this Burlington detention center. He is now on his way back home to Milford. He says one of his first stops was to McDonald's for some chicken nuggets and French fries, because while he's been here all week since Saturday, oftentimes they were only eating crackers for dinner.
I don't want to cry, but I want to say that that place, it's not good. It's not good. Ever since I got here, they had me in handcuffs.
After days in federal custody, Marcelo Gomes da Silva is out on bond.
I'm extremely happy. Like I said, all glory goes to God.
The 18-year-old undocumented Milford teen was detained by ICE agents Saturday on his way to volleyball practice.
When I got here, the woman said, she was like, do you know why you're arrested? And I said, no, I don't. She said, because you overstayed your visa. You came here in 2013, and in 2015 you overstayed. And I told her, I was like, ma'am, I was 7 years old. Like, I don't know nothing about that stuff. Like, I don't understand how it works.
The feds say they were targeting his father.
I don't want anyone to touch my dad. I want my dad. My dad would call me at night with my brother and sister, and he wouldn't stop crying. And he would talk about how, like, he can't even go outside. Like, why? Like, there's no reason for this. You know what I mean? Like, my dad has never did anything wrong. My dad's everything to me. He's never, everything I learned was from my dad.
Gomes da Silva says while inside, he wasn't able to see the supporters protesting for his release, crediting his faith for getting him through the week.
It'd be really hard. I haven't showered in 6 days. I haven't done anything. The only thing I could do is thank God every day.
These immigration proceedings will continue while he's out on bond. His attorney says they filed an asylum application, and he is on his way back home to Milford. He says he's excited to hug his family and see his dog. And right there in Milford is where we pick up our Team 10 coverage live with Temi Tope Atalaya. Temi?
Yeah, Gabrielle, that rally was scheduled for today here on Spruce Street for Marcelo. His fellow students, fellow peers gathered here today to share their thoughts on his detainment, as well as giving him words of encouragement at this time.
I just don't think it's right, anything that happened to him, especially for such a good guy like that. Like, I get it for, like, other people is different, like, on how, like, things they've done. But for a guy that impacted everyone so much and just brought so much joy to everyone, it's just not right.
I'm not an immigrant myself, but I know and I can feel the struggles for people who are, and why, you know, why this whole situation just sucked as a whole, because none of this should happen. You know, students should have to live in fear. God always said to love your neighbor. You know, he never said anything about deporting them, and I know that for a fact.
Love you. We miss you. We love you. We hope you're doing well. We're sending prayers. You know, hope you're doing well. We can't wait to hear from you. We love you.
We also spoke to supporters here about their overall thoughts on the citizenship process. Here's what they had to say. We know that he came here with a visitor's visa and then had the student visa, and then that was expired. What are your thoughts on that? Do you feel, or do you maybe hope that he will go through this citizenship process?
I do hope he will. But one thing is, we don't know the backstory to that. Was he aware of that kind of status? When I was 18, when you were 18, were you thinking about legal things? Was that on your mind? It wasn't.
So there are those who would say that, well, every year in Rhode Island or in Massachusetts, you have thousands of people who go through the citizenship process to become a citizen. Why wasn't that the situation here? You've kind of already touched on that, but just getting more of your thoughts on that, if you can elaborate.
That's a good question, because what are the rules? Do you know? Does anybody really know? You know, we have people at the border that come in seeking asylum, and there's a process. They have to plead their case. You know, I don't know all the answers, you know, I really don't. I do know that there are people that stay here beyond their visas. You're right, they need to be held accountable. Is there a more humane way of doing that, though?
Again, as you just saw in Gabrielle's report, Marcelo has been released on bond. All of the supporters that I spoke with here today say that they hope everything goes well with his next court appearance. For now, live in Milford, Temi Talk-Badalea, NBC 10 News.
It's never appropriate, nor will it be tolerated.
City leaders are calling for peace ahead of a scheduled protest that is tonight and planned through the weekend. Thank you for watching News 4 San Antonio at noon. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. I'm David Chancellor.
And I'm Marisa Mendoza. Governor Greg Abbott has already deployed the Texas National Guard. The chief of police and the mayor just shared how the city is preparing for the protests. News 4 San Antonio's Tony Davis has those details.
Both Mayor Ron Nirenberg and San Antonio Police Chief William McManus have both said that there has been no communication between them and Governor Greg Abbott about the deployment of the National Guard. Now, with protests planned today and this weekend, the goal is to make sure that it remains peaceful. Members of the Texas National Guard have been deployed to San Antonio in anticipation of protests this week. This comes as U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement officers continue to conduct raids and detain immigrants after they leave scheduled court hearings. Mayor Ron Nirenberg believes that the Governor Abbott's decision to deploy the Guard can be seen as provocative, but believes local police can handle the situation.
I trust in our local law enforcement. They're the best of the best, and hopefully the Guard will not be active for these events.
As for the planned protests today and Saturday, Chief William McManus says the department fully supports the right to peacefully demonstrate. However, their top priority will be the safety of everyone involved.
We have our protocols in place, and I don't want to reveal what they are, but whatever we do with the utmost safety of the people that we're working with.
A statement from the organization 5051 was released this morning regarding the protest plan for this Saturday. It says in part, 5051 SATX is always and will always stand for nonviolent protests. We are loud, we are passionate, and we are unapologetically angry, but we do not tolerate violence, vandalism, or assault of any kind at our events. Now, the protest plan for tonight will be at 7 p.m. in front of the U.S. Federal Building. The one planned for Saturday will be at Travis Park starting at 5 p.m. I'm Tony Davis. Back to you.
And the Alamo says it will be closing early today because of the protests. In a statement, the Alamo Trust says they respect the rights of individuals to gather and peacefully express their views, and that this step is being taken to ensure the safety of visitors, demonstrators, and staff alike while preserving the integrity of the historic site. The grounds will close to the public starting at 5 p.m.
The governor's office tells us the state is ready to send people and resources to uphold law and order. He says National Guard soldiers are on standby, not just in San Antonio, but general spots where mass demonstrations are being planned around Texas. The governor's office also says that peaceful protests are part of the fabric of our nation, but Texas will not tolerate what they call the lawlessness that we have seen in Los Angeles. Anyone engaging in acts of violence or damaging property will be swiftly held accountable to the full extent of the law. We'd like to hear what you think about all this. Do you agree with deploying the National Guard troops to San Antonio ahead of the planned protests tonight and through the weekend? You can scan that QR code. Right now, well over 50%, 56% in fact say you do agree with the governor's decision. You can let us know by scanning that QR code. Meanwhile, a family of 4 in custody after showing up for an immigration court hearing. Their case was dismissed, and then all 4 were loaded up onto a bus. News 4's Christina De Leon joins us now with more on that.
Now, the family was loaded into this bus here right behind me. After immigration court, we're learning it was a family of 4 from Cuba, a man, his wife, and their 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Their attorney says they've been here to prior hearings, immigration hearings, and they were informed this morning that it was a real possibility of being deported. When they went to their hearing today, their asylum case was dismissed. After that, they were promptly led away by federal law officers onto the bus. Now, we spoke to their attorney, who they met just outside the courthouse, about what comes next next and why it is such an uphill battle for them to stay in this country.
They are going to have an uphill battle because they have to appeal the decision of their dismissal and then make it through expedited removal proceedings, which basically is them proving they have a credible fear and a viable asylum claim to then be presented in front of a judge later. They could have to remain detained for the entirety of those proceedings, and for expedited removal, they will have to be in detention for that part of the proceeding.
She says they will most likely be sent to a detention center here while they wait things out. And it's still unclear if more cases will be dismissed and others will be loaded onto a bus later on today. Outside Immigration Court downtown, I'm Christina De Leon. We will send it back to you.